Hi everyone, welcome to Skip School. Today I'm going to talk about how to skip a team if you have a lot of new curlers or people who have even never been on the ice before. Here at our club, the Wausau Curling Club, we hold an event called the Silver Spoon, which means that you have two experienced people and then sometimes two people who have never stepped foot on the ice. It's a really fun event to get people involved, but when you're dealing with people who have never curled before, how do you skip a game for people who don't know the rules of the game? So today we're going to walk through some basic strategies, how to work with your new curlers, and more importantly, how to find ways to win and have fun while you're out on the ice. Probably the easiest strategy for your game and for your team is just to make sure that you put a lot of rocks in the house. By doing this, you're going to limit the scoring opportunities for your opponents, but you might limit the scoring opportunities for yourself as well. But with this strategy, what you'll find is if you just have your new curlers focus on putting rocks in the house, they're going to have more fun and you're going to leave yourself more opportunities towards the end of the end. To demonstrate why throwing a lot of rocks in the house can be beneficial and can keep the scoring low, we're actually going to do a short game. If you've never done a short game before, how it works is you basically just start in the hacks here and you just throw to this near house. You can't take any rocks out and there's just going to be a lot of rocks in the house. But when we're done, you're going to see that there's not going to be a lot of scoring by either person when this happens.
Let's start with playing without hammer. Without hammer, yellow can dictate the scoring zone. The two yellow rocks on the edge of the forefoot are forcing the team with hammer to play into the forefoot if they want to score. A general rule when we don't have hammer is to force our opponent to take just 1 point, and playing into the house can accomplish that goal. A lot of rocks in the house generally means low scoring by either team. When we have a lead and don't have hammer, our goal isn't necessarily to try and score, but to get the hammer back, especially later in the game. When we have hammer, playing in the house is a defensive strategy. It helps us either maintain a lead or keep a team without hammer from stealing a lot of points. In this end, I only scored 1 point. Even if your opponent loves to do takeouts and is somewhat accurate with them, you can still neutralize the takeout game just by drawing down to their rock. And if your opponent calls a lot of takeouts and is missing them, you'll be in a better position just playing into the house than going back and forth with these takeouts. A takeout game is a defensive strategy because if you just keep going back and forth with takeouts, no one scores a lot of points. In general, having your new curlers play to the house will be easier and more fun than trying to throw guards or attempt takeouts. Obviously, you're not going to be shooting from this close away. You're going to have a lot of hogged rocks. You're going to have a lot of rocks go through the house. But this should hopefully illustrate to you that when you get a lot of rocks in play and you get them into the forefoot, the scoring is going to be limited for both teams. I'm going to do a full end breakdown of this short game end to really show how you can neutralize a takeout game. I'm allowed to do takeouts with the redstones. My wife is going to try to freeze on everything. And what this is showing is when she's trying to freeze on things, it's not allowing a lot of separation for me, and it's actually making it harder for me to do takeouts later in the end. Especially here, I take myself out trying to split out that yellow rock. Now she is in a very strong position, 2 in the forefoot, and really cutting down that scoring zone. She continues just to tap rocks around. It's not about doing takeouts for her. It's all about just making some of the angles different, tapping them around. And as we get to the final stones here, I don't have a lot of opportunities to score maybe 3 or 4 points. All I can do is score 2 points, which isn't a bad result for my wife in this situation.
Some quick tips for your new curlers to help them out if they're having trouble getting it down on the other side of the ice. They're throwing it too hard, they're throwing it too light, whatever it may be. One of the first things you can tell them is when they release the rock. If they're having a hard time getting the rock past the hog line, maybe having them let go of the rock a little bit sooner will help them out. The most momentum we're going to have as we come out of the hack is when we're immediately out of the hack. So if we have them try to let go right before that tee line, they might have a better chance of getting that rock across the hog line. Same thing goes if they're throwing it too hard and it's going through the house. We can have them try to hold on to it a little bit longer. We might instruct them, hey, just try to hold on to it a little bit longer. Maybe wait until you get outside of this house in front of us before you let go. That can help them maybe try to zone in where they're trying to let go, trying to get that weight correct. But it's a good rule of thumb too, just to help them understand the weight control that is needed sometimes in this game. Tip is if they're having trouble staying on your broom or at least trying to stay in somewhat line of where you are on the other end of the ice, make sure to have them square their shoulders up to you on the other end of the ice and make sure that their toe in the hack is pointing at you as well. Something I always tell new curlers as well is try to over exaggerate even to the outside shoulder of where the skip is positioned. So if you have your broom set up right on that 8 foot, right on the 8 foot, edge of the 8 foot, then maybe have them position themselves so it feels like they're actually pointing to the edge of the 12 foot. When they do their line of delivery, they'll probably be a little bit more accurate and probably be right on your broom on the edge of the 8 foot. So a big thing when you're dealing with new curlers is giving them this out turn. Usually this is the turn that a lot of new curlers are better at. They stay on line a lot better than if they have the in turn. Skip, the other thing we want to do is we want to make sure our legs are apart so that our curlers can see the broom right between our legs. We want to give ourselves a good stance, to give them a good target to shoot at. Because really anything that's within shoulder width of what you are standing at is probably going to be on line for anyone who's new. Now with this rock in the house, with the yellow stone now coming through, we can still just keep playing with our lead stones, trying to come back over here, because if something happens where it's left out up here, that's going to be useful for later. If we hit this a little too hard, that's okay. If we tick it and slip it away, that's okay too. The main thing with these early stones is just see how they can get to the button and go from there. All right, we'll try it again right on the 8 foot, trying to get to the button. Once again, with the red stone, have her try to come down to the button. Now, a big thing, if you're new to skipping, haven't skipped before, a big one that a lot of people always ask was like, when do you know when to sweep? Well, that's a hard question to answer because it takes a lot of time to kind of understand where to start sweeping, when to not sweep, when to come up, all that fun stuff. The main thing is after the shot is released, get yourself in a position so you can see the rock coming down the ice. And if you start seeing it curl and you can kind of guess the trajectory and if it's going to hit one of these rocks, that's when you want to call that sweep so that you can try to sweep around those rocks. So we're going to try again, trying to get to the button. I'm going to give you a little more broom. Okay, the rock is away. Now that the rock's away, I can move my broom. I can come over here and I can start looking at it. I want to come right here. I'm watching it. This is probably where I would be calling a sweep just to try to get it here. But actually, I don't need it. This is really looking good. We're going to try to pull it in. Here's where we would sweep for a really good shot once again. Like our first or our seconds, just working on the draw shot, we can just tell them to try to throw it a little bit harder. So I'm just going to try to throw it a little bit harder. I'm going to give you the same broom and just trying to get down to this one. We're not trying to change too much up for what they've been doing already. We're just going to see if they can throw it a little bit harder and see if they can get to this rock right here. So I'm giving you the same broom. Try to throw a little bit harder. Good. As it's coming down the ice, as I see it, it looks like it's going to be right on line, which is really good. I'm going to go out and sweep it just so it gets around stuff.
Crashing. It's too late.
But even with a crash like that, we don't have the sweepers, obviously. That's still a good result for you later in the end. So don't get too discouraged if they're missing their shots. Just keep in mind that as long as they're keeping the rock in play, it's going to be useful for you later in the end. So once again, we're in a situation where we have 2 reds in the house. All we're really looking for our seconds to do is just try to keep putting rocks in, maybe even trying to tap this one up, trying to tap this one up. But we're going to keep giving them that same broom. So we can tell them you can throw a little bit harder and tap one of these up. And that would be a good shot result for us here as well. So broom's down. Always want to make sure we're giving them that handle so they know what to look for. And we want to get back here. We want to be back behind the tee line. We want to see how that rock's coming in so we can call sweep calls or not. And this one looks like it's going to just hit on the inside of this one. And give us a little bit of a tap, even split them on, which is even a good shot too. Very nicely done. Nicely done shot there. As the skip, we're assuming this is our last stone. We've only thrown 4, but that's okay. As the skip, you want to leave yourself with an opportunity for success. So if you like takeouts, if you like this double opportunity, if you like the draws, make sure you're setting up shots that are going to help you get to that outcome. Now, my wife's on the other end of the ice, and I know she's salivating to do this double takeout right here. And as skip, I know that's what she's going to call. So let's see her make this shot. We're calling the sweep, but we're going to get one of them. And yeah, a little piece of everything. Probably set in second count, which is good in this situation. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe so you can get more of this curling content into your algorithm. Even if it's not my content, get some other curling content in there as well. Hey, and hopefully this gave you all the confidence that you need to get your team signed up for the Silver Spoon like we have here at the Wausau Curling Center, or your own new curler bonspiel at your local club, or even as a way to get new curlers into your club, working with them and skipping your own team in maybe a rookie league or a 5 and under league as well. Thank you so much for watching. Good curling, and we'll see you next time.